Well, hello again. I don't have coffee this time, but it's the afternoon. It's raining, and I just did a little meditation and have been thinking about some of the responses that I got to the last video about desire. And there were some questions brought up about desire and manifestation. And I feel like first of all, that's a very good question. And I have a lot of thoughts about manifestation and the way that it's being taught, and more importantly, the way it's being sold in the spiritual community right now. And that bothers me a lot because I feel that a lot of times, particularly manifestation itself, it's being sold in the spiritual community. And of course, anytime somebody's trying to sell you something, you should become suspicious, right? People are selling these classes about how to, manifest your dreams in 30 days or whatever. And I think there's a lot of that's misunderstood about manifestation. So let's get back a second. Let's just pull back to desire and manifestation, right? In my talking about desires, it's not bad to have desires. Where it gets to be a problem, let me just be really clear, is when you become so attached to a desire, a particular desire, that you can't pivot to see that maybe this thing that you think you really want isn't actually the thing, that there's something else that might even be better, right? I just went to a Garth Brooks concert this weekend, and one of my favorite songs that he does is Unanswered Prayers. Some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. So that's a perfect example, right? Is that at this time you think, like in the song, he thinks he wants this girl, his high school flame, so much, and that his whole life will be totally perfect if he gets her, right? And it doesn't work out. And then years later, he runs into her at a football game when he's with his wife, and he realizes, oh my gosh, thank you so much for that unanswered prayer, because you knew that there was something else. So there's a certain amount of faith that's involved with desire and with manifestation, but with desire in particular right now. So that there's the idea that, I love the prayer, this or something better, right? So this thing that I think that I want, or my will be thy will, right? That I understand that from my limited perspective, I can have desires. You don't want to get too attached to them, because that actually, it's not just a question of being disappointed or feeling bad if you don't get this thing that you think you want, but it's the other thing is that you might miss something that's even better. Right? So that's the first point that I want to make about that. So desire is not bad. It's an all-consuming attachment to a particular desire that can get us into some maybe not so great places, right? And whether that's putting us in bad positions, or whether that's just not feeling happy, and that's a block to our joy, which of course we don't want to put up any roadblocks to our joy, right? Now, manifestation. So the thing about manifestation, there's one real point I want to make about manifestation as far as I understand it. Now, I am not claiming to be the end-all be-all of knowledge, okay? I'm giving this to you from my own experience of manifestation, and from all the experiences and things that I've read and talking to other people and all this kind of thing. So this is the culmination of my experience and knowledge so far. I am open to suggestion that there are other ways to think about this, that I'm dead wrong. I'm just giving you what I understand, okay? And I think one of the most important things about manifestation that most of the people who are selling, courses on manifestation don't mention is that one of the important pieces of manifestation is manifesting things not just for your own good or for your own ego, that you are manifesting things that are not just going to benefit yourself, but my understanding of one of the rules of thumb is that it should benefit at least one other person in some way, right? So there's this whole idea, and this is part of what feels not so great to me, right, is that manifestation sort of gets pushed off into this idea that you're making a vision board of your Maserati and your fancy house and Chanel clothing and whatever it is, and it's really kind of gets materially based, right? That this idea that you're manifesting a particular lifestyle or something. Does that benefit anyone else? I guess it does looking at trickle down economics or something, but an example of something different might be, let's say that you were putting a project together, and if you were able to get funding for that project, you would be able to, hire 10 other people who would then be doing, some kind of great work that might help other people in some way. And even if that's, I don't know, making an accounting firm, if it's benefiting, it can benefit you, and it can even benefit you monetarily. But the whole idea is that it's not just you, that it's benefiting others as well. I think the other issue that I have with the way manifestation is being talked about a lot and is being sold in particular is this whole idea. Okay, guys, come on. I know, it's just Vivian. Is that this idea, now I just got off track, the idea that there's a lot of victim blaming, right? So if you can't manifest, you must be doing it wrong. There must be something wrong with you. You must be, there must be, you're not well enough. You're not spiritual enough. You're not enough of you're not highest level. There's things we can teach you to do that will put you in a better place for manifestation. Really? In my mind, from my understanding, the real thing is, they're just not helping me today, is this whole idea of fear, right? It's about fear, it's about faith. So the idea that if you, part of it is about faith. Do you believe that you are worthy of something that you're hoping to happen? If you're looking for love in your life, and you want to manifest love in your life. Do you believe that you're actually worthy of love? Are you afraid of love? Are you afraid of being abandoned? Are you actually, the other thing is, are you actually taking steps to do these things too, right? So there's the victim blaming thing is a part of it. And then there's the other thing is, you got to buy the lottery ticket, right? If you aren't actually taking steps to make things happen in your life, right? If you're not doing things that are going to, like, for instance, if you want to be a counselor and help people, are you applying to school? Are you going to school? Are you, are you making plans to do something like that so that you can make that happen? Or are you sitting around trying to manifest a certain amount of money so you can go to graduate school, right? I mean, do you see what I'm saying? And that I think is something that often, that's just an example. I mean, I think you can extrapolate that to other situations. This idea of that you're just that you're sitting around, and if you visualize it enough and believe in it enough, it'll just happen, right? And it's not quite that way. In my understanding, there's the whole idea of this. You're following a path. So there's also, I think, a certain state of flow that's involved, so that you have faith that things are meant to happen, and that you are able to that you're able to pivot when a particular desire or a particular thing you think is supposed to happen or should happen isn't happening the way that you think it is, to be open to that shift, to be open to signs to go in another direction. And then, so that requires, I think, a certain amount of faith and a certain amount of flow state, right? And the idea that you're willing to see signs, that you're open to messages and to people coming into your life or circumstances coming into your life that maybe point you in a particular direction that you didn't dream of, And again, that comes back to the beginning, this idea of being attached to a particular desire. That actually may block not only joy, but manifestation as well. Because if you're not open to what God, source, the universe, whatever you want to call it, may be offering you, you may be missing some really big opportunities for wonderful things to manifest in your life. So that's what I have now. I've got it under 10 minutes again, even with the small interruption and brain freeze that happened as a result. And so big kisses, questions, problems, thoughts, disagreements, agreements, whatever it is, I'm open. Always loving to learn, and you guys make me think, and I love that. I love that, because then I can ponder it and meditate on it, and it's awesome. Anyway, and then maybe offer more. So if you want it. So, bye. Thanks.